whatever we did in terms of marks and scores, like, completely irrelevant. There is no test that can be designed that will capture all kinds of intelligence. See, in the business school world, there's a thumb rule that is there, that your payback period of what investment you have made in fees, it should be recoverable in less than 2 years.
Oh. What is it that you do with the students that makes them qualify for a CTC like a 30 lakh? इस पॉडकास्ट को शुरू करने से पहले मेरी आपसे एक छोटी सी रिक्वेस्ट है। सब्सक्राइब बटन और बेल आइकन को क्लिक करिए, क्योंकि आपके ऐसा करते ही आप हमारी कम्युनिटी के पार्ट बन जाते हो, हमारी कम्युनिटी बड़ी हो जाती है और ट्रस्टेबल हो जाती है। ये स्पेशली इंपॉर्टेंट होता है हमारे गेस्ट के लिए, जिनको हम बहुत मेहनत से अप्रोच करते हैं, और वो जब आते हैं पॉडकास्ट पे तो अपने सालों की इंफॉर्मेशन आपके साथ शेयर करते हैं, जिसको आप आराम से घर में बैठ के सुन पाते हो। उन गेस्ट के लिए इम्पॉर्टेंट होता है कि कौन सुनेगा उनको, कितने लोग सुनेंगे, और ये सवाल का जवाब आप बहुत आसानी से दे सकते हो सब्सक्राइब करके। आपको सिर्फ इतना करना है, बाकी हम देख लेंगे। तो आइए चलते हैं, देखते हैं ये पॉडकास्ट। What is it that you do with the students that makes them qualify for a CTC like a 30 lakh?
This is a difficult question to answer because there are multiple things to it.
Sure.
Now, trust me, when MBAs graduate, even at graduation and a lot, they keep on asking these questions among themselves. What did we really learn that made us all of this? That question is, what do we retain out of what we did in class? And the experience and the takeaways are going to be vastly different across schools. So I cannot generalize an experience. They are vastly different. But I think the biggest factor that goes in there is basically the students themselves. Right. So the best schools are best because they succeed in attracting the brightest students. Right? Or they're believed to be able to attract the brightest students. Right? And I think the belief is not misplaced.
Sure.
The belief is true. I mean, yes, if you go to an IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Bangalore, ISB, I'm Kozhikode, I'm Lucknow, I'm Calcutta, and all these places, it's so selective to get in there that there can be mistakes of one kind, that one who deserved didn't make it. But there is very rarely there would be a mistake that one who did not deserve it made it. Right? The type 1, type 2 errors, there can be only a one-kind error, because that's the same story about the IITs also.
Yeah.
Right? It's just so difficult to get in that you really have to be super class and then extremely lucky to get in. You can still be super class and not make it. Right? Which is true.
And you could blame the luck for that.
Yeah, luck for that. And luck will definitely play a role even after your capabilities.
True.
But to be qualified for that, you need to cross a certain threshold. Right?
So you're saying everybody who does qualify, does not come with a margin of error.
Yeah.
They have gone through the grind.
Yes.
Yeah. Coming to your space of education, India के पूरे proportion में आप ये 20 schools का top 20 schools का क्या percentage मानते हो कि कितने, अगर 100 लोग पढ़ते हैं पूरे इंडिया में, तो top schools में कितने जाते होंगे?
See, from what I have heard, there is a statistic somewhere. I don't know. I cannot give you the citation right now. There are 3,600 business schools in India.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Now, somebody tells me there is much more than that.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know the number, but 3,600 let's stick to that. Now, out of this, if you ask somebody to name a set of business schools, I doubt anybody will be, the most informed will not be able to cross 50 or 100.
Yeah.
Right? If you look at NIRF, they will cover 100 schools. And then they'll say the category which is 100 to 150, 150 to 200 or something like that. So let's say NIRF would also restrict itself to about 200 to 50 schools at max.
Wow.
Right? And this is out of a population of 3,600 schools.
My God.
Right.
Where are the rest 3,400 schools?
Exactly. So all this discussion about business schools that happens is only about the very top.
Yeah.
Now, within that very top, when you're talking about the elite schools, all the top IIMs or all IIMs for that matter, and the XLRIs, MDIs, and the established Symbiosis, and Narsi Monji, and all those big brand old schools, as well as the new ones, of course, Bitsom, for example, Great Lakes, and others which are newer schools, newer institution, and most of the private universities have their own B schools, are almost an essential part of a universities. So all of those. So we are talking a very small fraction, but even there is a massive categorization. So there are, you would say, at least 4 tiers.
Okay.
And we are not talking about the 3,600. We are talking of the 100 or 250. And I'm talking about not even 250.
The
Forget
ones
about
that
250.
are listed.
That are listed. Let's talk about the first 100 schools.
That, NRF is at least familiar with.
Right.
Wow.
So, or who apply for NIRF or whatever. It's not NIRF's fault. Not everybody comes into the into the ranking. In fact, many well-endowed schools hesitate to go into NIRF ranking because they don't want to go in there unless they will be ranked well. Right? And NIRF follows a pretty transparent method. Now, that method is far from perfect. Let me tell you that. Because that method can be gamed. And it can be gamed precisely because it is pretty much transparent. Right? So you can understand that if you look at your own publications, if you look at your graduate outcomes, you can get a guess of where you will be ranked in the system. Now, schools play it strategically. They would do that homework themselves and they say, are we likely to come in the top 100? If not, we will not participate. Right?
You don't want to be seen as
you don't
500.
want to be seen in the so this is a standard game that people play.
This was my next question, but I guess we already started on that what is a bright person? Like how it is, and what it is to be in a group of bright people. What does it look like? Right? I'm just thinking that if 5 of you bright people are there, what does that look like? So I guess you just said that the kind of debates, the kind of discussions that would be happening there would be very layered, would be, something that person would have processed it, felt it, can keep on counter answering.
Exactly.
That.
So it challenges you all the time.
Yeah.
And management education is a very diverse field, going from HR to finance to accounting to information system. Nobody is coming with that kind of a training.
Yeah.
Everybody gets exposed to 80% of the stuff that students are seeing is new to them. Now, that means whether you are an economist or an engineer or an accountant, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but you are seeing new things. You're getting exposed to new things. Particularly HROB, psychology, for example, right, is probably new to most people who get in there.
Yeah.
Now, a business school by design will force you to work in a team. Teamwork is very difficult, right? I mean, it's sometimes much easier to do something yourself.
Yeah.
And so teamwork is to convincing somebody else of your idea, to battle through the ego clashes
and
listen to them
while you have a conflict.
Right.
Yeah.
So teamwork is a difficult trait, and all business schools try to do that. And that they work, and I'm sure that pays dividends when they actually go to a workplace and have to deal with diverse colleagues and different ideas.
Yeah.
So teamwork is certainly something that comes into play. But as I said, it works better in some places than others. It's not easy to teach teamwork. Right? It's impossible to teach teamwork.
Actually,
Let's put it that way.
You can only make groups and say, you guys work together.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
That let's say the CAT 99% or the GMAT 99% or whatever. It's not like any of these exams are perfect. Right? I mean, good people flunk them.
Yeah.
And sometimes people who are not so great ace them.
Sure.
Happens. It happens with every exam. No exam is perfect in that sense.
Yeah.
But what we say is, well, who is this CAT 99 percentiler, right? And the usual answer, no, he's the smartest. I don't think so. Because, intelligence is an extremely difficult concept to measure, define and measure.
Yeah.
First. So second, but one thing we know almost with a very high degree of this is a 99 percentiler in CAT or GMAT or any of these standardized exams is a person who has taken academics seriously from grade 1, not at the last moment, or at least from grade 8. Otherwise, couldn't have gone through all those loops and all those hoops and got there. So he's a very hardworking person. It's more the sincerity and the hard work that has gone in that produces that result, less than the core intelligence, whatever core intelligence may mean.
So you can build intelligence.
You can build it. And most of the intelligence that we see is built. And it is that relentless pursuit of academic success, which creates that which ultimately delivers that performance in a standardized test. And one can rightly argue that this is not the kind of intelligence that one may see in an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Right? And that's very true. Very true. Yeah, there are many
different worlds.
Very different worlds.
Yeah.
It is not the kind of intelligence that will probably produce a completely new thing. Right? It is more a person who will sharpen something that already exists.
But will keep doing it perfectly. All over
yes.
again. Yeah.
And there is no dispute with that.
Right. That's also needed.
That's also needed. So there is no test that can be designed that will capture all kinds of intelligence and all kinds of. But to work in a typical corporate environment, the kind of intelligence that probably works well for 99%, leave out the 1% creatives.
Yeah.
I don't think a business school can create an Elon Musk. I don't think that's possible. Right? Or for that matter, any of those massive creators.
Right.
Right? Those guys are out of the story. A business school is neither necessary nor sufficient for them.
Right. They have a different DNA.
Yeah. And I don't think, people have gone through business schools, MBAs, and who have created wonderful things. I don't think the business school had much of a role there.
It was them.
Right? Massively talented people, massively entrepreneurial people have gone through Harvard, have gone through IMA, have gone through ISB, have gone through any other business school, this thing.
Or have gone nowhere.
Or have gone nowhere.
And done amazing stuff.
And it's unfair for say that IMA made that person. And the third thing is obviously the perception. The recruiters believe that the elite schools are good. And that plays a no small role in the outcome.
It's huge, no?
It's huge. And also many of these good schools would have their alumni network that would be biased towards their own
people,
alma mater.
Yeah.
So it's...
What is that bias? That bias is more emotional, of like coming from the same college, or it's you really got the value from that college, and so it's obvious that the other person is also coming from that value.
You are going to give the benefit of doubt when for two equal candidates. You are just psychologically tilted towards that. I don't think anybody makes
towards familiarity.
To a familiarity towards. It's like it's a buddy network of some kind.
Yeah.
So the bias is undeniable. People can come out
of it. Not very describable also.
Not very describable.
But you have this faith in the institution.
Because you have gone through it. You have the name means something different to you than to a person who has not been there. And so it would... But of course, that operates only at the margin.
Yeah.
Between two candidates who are vastly different, you are unlikely to select somebody just because he's gone to your alma mater.
That's not totally off.
But at the margin, you're going to give that person an advantage.
Suppose that student is from an institution that you know nothing of, really, and at that moment you choose not to judge it by the institution that person comes from. What is it that you will be reading out of this person's interaction with you, or their scores or merits? What is it that you would want to look at, early on, to gauge if you're in the recruiter's position, let's say, or in academician position, to say, okay, let me give it a fair shot. B school to nahi hai, top B school se to nahi hai, but evaluate karte hain isko ki ye kidhar stand karta hai. What will be those factors?
So typically what people want to see in a kind of a person, it depends on what role we are looking for. So let's say we are taking a recruiter's lens, right?
Yeah.
Because we as academics, so we will not look at an
Aap nahi
MBA
karoge
because
wo.
we will only look at an MBA if they are coming for a PhD.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So let's put that aside.
And since you also work with recruiters, you
Yeah.
interact with them, so you have a sense of wo kaise dekhte hain.
So it is for them that I said that this is a very casteist world. So if I have not heard of your school, my question is, why are you not there in a school that I have heard of?
Wahin pe judgment ho gaya.
So that the brand matters massively, right? First. Secondly, now this brand also is not just the name, because as I'm saying, that forget about the top
merit
listing.
of it.
Merit of it. So even if you take like the 5,000 or 10,000, you leave that. Okay, those are in the super, the different level of Brahmins or whatever it is, and you leave them out.
Yeah.
But there's the rest of the population, right? And there are the rest of the jobs to fill. Only 5,000 people is not enough for corporations. So you have to go down somewhere there. Now that is where the placement teams of these schools make a difference, because they'll go and visit the HR guys and they'll keep on telling them, well, please come and look at our guys. We are good. We have got this. We have got that. We have got our faculty is like this, and our curriculum is like that. And our students have won this debate or won that quiz or won that startup tournament and blah. So that brand, that impression of the school can also be improved
and
through direct sales. Can be created.
Yeah.
Right. It's not just the immediate brand recognition.
And then it happens over a period of time.
That happens over a period of time. So they work on warming up the recruiter to visit their schools.
So the placement cells are very, very important for the future of the student.
Absolutely. Now understand that the qualities that recruiters look for in that 25-35 bracket are quite different from the qualities that people look from in this bracket. There are two different worlds between the two. And in this bracket, what people are looking for is first and foremost, of course, is communication. Right? Does the person come out as well communicated, verbal communication, some cases expressive, written communication. Now, many companies in this level actually make you go through a written test, right? And which would look at your logical ability, your quant skills, sometimes your Excel skills, right? Basic skills of operational skills.
Yeah.
And that weeds out a lot of students. And being able to crack those exams, and those exams are a good third-party test for the school's own exams. Because once in this category, there is a challenge even for private institutions. There is a challenge between getting and retaining students and giving the best quality of this thing. So there is a conflict between seeing the student as a student versus seeing the student as a customer.
Not easy.
Yeah. And the problem is you are going to uphold your standards, whereas when the payment is coming from the person that is going to be judged by your standards.
Yeah.
Right? Now, for government institutions, none of this matters because their funding is from a different source. For private ones, particularly, I mean, if they have to run it, so they have to be conscious of that side.
Yeah.
Now, it is not easy to run, particularly unless you become a famous school. ISB doesn't have to care about any of this.
Now.
Right? Yeah, now. Yeah. Or for that matter, at the beginning, they had enough money to run all of this on their own.
They're not dependent on their admission money.
At all. Right? So now, if you are not funded that way and you care about tuition money, you have to get the crowd in.
Yeah.
And to not flunk all of them, even if they look like borderline cases.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a tough challenge.
Yeah.
Your students are your customers in many ways. So that dilemma.
And then how they perform is going to decide your future.
Right. So now you are going to push them. Now when the recruiters know this. So the recruiters come and say, we'll look at your students, but make them go through this test first. If they don't clear that test, end of story. Right? Just can't do it.
Yeah.
And it's not like one school that the recruiter is talking to. There are at least 30, 40, 50 schools out there talking to them, saying the same thing. Our students are the best. Right? So now they have to make so they'll use one standardized test of their own and say, end of story. Right? Now, but then let's say the students who qualifies, and even then there's going to be a set out of which you're going to choose, or you get to the, the interview thing. So you look for communication, one. Look for thoughtfulness in the student. Okay. Right? As this person may think, so they typically have these interviewers, I'm told, I'm not an expert in this, they often follow, not always, often follow a certain questions to see how deeply you're thinking, which also in many cases can be practiced and gained. So in many schools, they do a better job, and in other schools, prepping students for those kinds of questions. But ultimately, you see, you're
just trying to cross that bridge.
Right? I mean, it's not some great secret that the HR recruiter has up his sleeve. Right? The coach here also knows that secret. Yeah. So it's a game going on. Now, it depends on how much the effort the individual student puts in mastering that secret.
Yeah.
Some students are motivated enough to make that effort. Some others are not.
Yeah. If you were coaching an upcoming college, what is it that you would include in that framework from all your learning as a student? I particularly want you to look back into your student life, because IIMA, of course, has proven structure, right? But you were one of the students who benefited or have different kind of emotions during the structure. And now today, when you're creating a structure for the next upcoming university, what is it that you will keep in the framework?
See, the thing is this. So, creating an institution overnight, where your MBA students are going to find employment in the 6 to 15 lakh range is nearly impossible. The reason why I'm saying it's nearly impossible is because first, that space is pretty contested, right? See, getting a 6 lakh job is not that easy as these elite people would like to believe. Yeah. It is still very contested, right? 15 though is very, very contested.
Very, very contested.
But even 6 is not for everyone's thing. There are certain boxes to be ticked.
As a fresher.
Yeah. So now the point is, in the business school world, there is a very simple thing, right? If you look at, I think it's not just business school. Any school is true, but business school is more markedly, more clearly so. It's a supply chain. So you've got admission, instruction, and placement. Right? The three things.
Clear. Yeah.
Now, the two ends really run the show. In the sense, if your placement is good, you'll get good admission.
Yeah.
And if your admission is good and you don't goof up in the instruction part too much, then your placement is likely to be good. Right? Not guaranteed, but likely to be
Fair
good.
chance.
Fair chance.
Yeah.
So now, it's a chicken and egg problem. Which one do you work on the admission or do you work on the placement? Or the answer is you work on both.
Yeah.
But still, it will take a lot of time climbing up. Overnight, it will not hit that thing. Now, there are one or two mechanisms of breaking this or making an attempt and hoping that things will fall in place. Is branding. ISB is probably the biggest innovation, at least in the business school sector.
Innovation?
Yeah. They changed the whole model, right?
How?
So, before ISB, it was just these IIMs. And I have nothing, I am myself an IIM product, so obviously.
Sure.
But ISB brought in a few very new things, which were pretty standard in the US. Somewhere it. The first is the insistence on experience. So IIMs I went straight from college to MBA. Right? Why did I go? Padho jao. And why am I going to an MBA? What is an MBA all about? Nothing. Right? Very simple. People have told you that you get good jobs if you do it. You just go and do it. Right? That was the thing. It's important for you to get a job.
Yeah.
And in my zamana, it was a scarce economy. Yeah. Finding a job was not a simple matter. It's pre-liberalization world and all of that.
Yeah.
So you ended up there.
Yeah.
Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But the fact is that what gets taught in an MBA program makes so much more sense to you if you have actually seen the real place a bit.
Apply it.
Apply it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you go from the classroom to another classroom, you're just hearing another stuff and prepping for the exam and trying to max the...
Gyan hai sab. It's just
right.
theory.
You never relate to it. Whatever we did in terms of marks and scores, completely irrelevant. It didn't matter at all. I mean, it did help us in terms of, for me, for example, going to the PhD and all, it certainly helped.
Yeah.
But beyond that, in terms of, had I worked, I obviously became an academic and didn't spend time in the real market, in the real workplace.
Yeah.
But for people who went to the workplace, I mean, what value IIM had added, and it would have been far more magnified had they come there with a couple of years of experience under their belt. That made a big difference. So ISB insisted on that.
Nice.
Which is pretty standard in the US. You cannot get an MBA without straight out of undergrad.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's required. But in India, that was never the case, right?
So ISB brought in.
ISB brought that in.
Nice. ISB, like you're right. I mean, it's... I think there was also a good time when a lot of MBAs had graduated by then. That the 15 years, 18 years back, there was like this whole 10 years behind of going only after MBA. And there was a saturation already that people were hired, but they couldn't grow beyond that. So there was not a system for them to come back to classroom, right? And this actually worked well in time for that.
Absolutely. And also the other thing that ISB did differently was, in India, most certainly, ISB was the only school, I would say, or at least the first school for sure, which was really going global or world class right from the beginning. It's the aspiration, right? So, I mean, it builds on whatever has gone before it. There's no... See, the IIMs came in their 60s, in the 1960s.
Different time, different era.
Different era.
Absolutely.
And most of the leadership, if you see at ISB also, have come from IIMs.
Yeah.
Either Ahmedabad or Bangalore, mostly.
Yeah.
These two places.
But they are also the ones who ventured out of the country.
They ventured out.
And gotten a global experience.
Right. So that was all there. So the ISB has also stood on the shoulders of IIMs in some ways.
Yeah.
But the other thing that they did right, and which was certainly a game changer, was that model of having the original partners, right? So Wharton, Kellogg, and London Business School, they were the partner schools for ISB right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And when you now go and look at every university and business school as partners, right? And this number of partners runs into hundreds, right? And they're very easy to sign an MOU with somebody and say, we are in partnership.
Okay.
But we will look at faculty and student exchange and involvement and
the larger picture.
99% of it is just talk. Nothing happens. Out of any average university's list of MOUs, there will be less than 3% that is actually having some action. And there's nothing wrong with hiring local talent.
That as well. Yeah.
But the question is that if you have committed to maintain that same quality, at least in the visibility of the quality.
Yeah.
Now, it may very well be that the Indian talent is providing better quality than your home faculty. It's quite possible.
Yeah.
No
doubts on that.
No doubts about that.
Yeah.
But to the market, is that same quality visible in the
checklist that the market is going to look at, how it's going to have that same faculty there, right?
So that claim is not very easy. And the reason why they cannot do it is simply the economics.
Yeah.
Right? The money that you're going to get out of it and the opportunity cost of your faculty member there to come. Mean, there will be a few Indian origin faculty who would love to be here just for the going back home. Kind of a feel.
Yeah.
But
not all.
Not all.
Yeah.
And financially, it will never work out.
Never work out, yeah.
Even for ISB, it was very clear, right? The people that they were getting, why were they coming to India? Because of some non-financial reason. They're aging parents, want to raise kids in India, whatever reasons.
Right.
Nobody was coming to ISB to
for
make money.
Money.
Yeah, because they could make far more money in the US or UK or wherever they were coming from. And that's the crowd that ISB was completely focused on.
And I think the credibility is also this: the graduates coming up from ISB are being respected in the industry.
Yeah. even right from the day one, their admission standards were very serious.
Could that
Globally.
be because the people appearing for these were experienced? Do you think their work X could have added to?
See, one is the Indian students are very good at cracking exams.
Yeah.
Right? So there is a very large segment of people who get very good GMAT scores.
True.
Right. So as long as they are coming to ISB,
yeah,
the pool is there. Right. So the question is attracting those talents to
those talents.
Right. So for example, which is the game that, say, for instance,
ISB played?
No, ISB built its brand. ISB, when it came to the market, I mean, ISB was not a great brand, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a new thing.
I
mean, there was branding. The best in the world have come together to create this school.
So that
right?
was branding.
Yeah, that was branding.
There was merit in it,
there
but it was also thought from a branding point of view.
But the school itself, the fact that if I go to ISB, I'll land a great job, that came much later, over time. They earned it through blood and sweat.
Sure.
Now, but to start a school where you will attract good enough people to merit good jobs. Because if you get an indifferent bunch of students, it's extremely difficult to straighten them up. Because if you really put the pressure, they will quit. End of story.
They're not interested.
They're not interested. They just want to have a good time. So you cannot straighten them up, get an indifferent bunch of students and straighten them up into a serious student. It is not about education. It's about changing your attitudes, changing your, and last 2 years of your education is hardly the time to fix the damage that has happened over last so many years. It's not adequate. So, but the one way to break it, of course, and this is not an easy way, is to bank on an established brand. Even ISB did that, right? So when ISB came, it was very clear. The first several years, the ISB certificate was signed by Kellogg, Harvard, Kellogg, Wharton. So that was there. So they also stood on the shoulders of giants to create their own brand. And then later on, they were self-sufficient and they could move away from that. So you can then become a brand extension of an existence. So you have a partnership with another school and say, okay, this school is now created. This is with partner X. Partner X is not really coming in here. But we have this kind of a relationship with it. So basically make a splash in a way so that students who have the quality of going to other very good places come to you. Now, if you have attracted that kind of students, then you can really impose rigor on that body of students. Imposing rigor on a bunch of indifferent students is not going to take you anywhere.